State. I'm Josh McCann. Adam, Oswego finally got some snow.
I'm Adam Rupsick, and my grandmother can't wait to see me for Thanksgiving. Have a great show coming up for you tonight. Football and crucial, and a good look from the hardwood. OSU starts right now.
Let's go streaking. That's what the men's basketball team is saying after rattling off 3 wins in a row after losing the Maxfield Championship game 2 weeks ago. The Lakers handled last year's Sweet 16 darlings Ithaca, and then they won 2 tightly contested games against worthy opponents in St. Lawrence and Hartwick to move to 4-1 in the season. Adam, where is the success coming from?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's coming from the man, Dan Ross. He comes out there every game. He's really comes out and the playmaker of this team. The preseason, there's no playmaker on this team, Leon's quote. But come on, Dan Ross can get to the bucket at any time. Hey, but Brian Sortino, the freshman point guard, he ain't playing bad either.
Yeah, you know what? Dan Ross, 21 points a game, 6.6 rebounds, and how about this? Kyle Copley, he's shooting almost 50% from 3, SUNYAC Player of the Week. I think what he's bringing to this team, he stepped up his level from last year. Last year he was a bench player who came in if he needed a 3. Now they're relying on him. They're shooting the ball very well, and I think one of the things we're starting to see is they form an identity. They're starting to gain confidence, and that's crucial going into their first couple SUNYAC games the next couple of weeks.
How about Mark Candelario? I mean, the 6'9" presence. We talked about Oswego's post-game being hit hard this year, losing Hayden Ward. And Candelario comes in. Really didn't see a lot of minutes when we watched him play here at Oswego, but he's averaging 8 a game now, and he had 10 rebounds, a high rebound in that overtime win. So he's coming out to play as well. I'm really impressed with Sortino, the freshman, not turning the ball over, and he's scoring. Could see maybe a few more assists a game, but they're all right.
You know what? 2 things that are going to help build on this season. One of them is close games, overtime games, where they're really able to step up and make plays late to win the game. I think they've done that, and we saw it in the St. Lawrence game. We also saw it in the Hartwick game. And the second thing is they don't turn the ball over very much. 9 turnovers a game. What Sortino is able to do as a freshman, come in, command the offense, and the vision that he has on the court, that's unparalleled by most point guards we see in the SUNYAC and we've seen the Lakers play this year so far. So those 2 things are huge, and I think Coach Leon's got a good squad, and I think they're happy.
Yeah, you got to tap yourself on the back if you're Coach Leon, recruiting Sortino coming in and producing this early. They're also scoring 76 points a game. We talked about we want them to get to that fast-paced style of play because that's what they're going to have to do, and they're playing good defense. They're causing 14 turnovers and 8 steals a game. I mean, they can get out, and we saw in that Ithaca game, they were in transition most of the game off good defense. So, so their defense is playing good.
Yeah, you hit threes, 13 more than any other team in the SUNYAC so far. You're going to win some games.
The Oswego State women's basketball team is off to a swift start after winning the Maxfield tip-off tourney. The ladies outlasted Hamilton last week to go 3-0 on the year. This team is putting up crazy statistics. Are they for real?
Oh, my goodness, yes, they're for real. Jen Robbins, 21.7 points per game. Heather Hebert, 60.3, 9.7 rebounds. She's almost averaging a double-double. And the thing that I like from this team so far is they score points. They don't have a big post presence, but what do they do to make up for it? They shoot 49% from the field. That's first in the SUNYAC. They hit shots, they play defense, and they're tough. They're a tenacious team who's not afraid to get in physical. You know what? So far, 3-0 on the season. They haven't played many games. Big tough test against Rochester coming up this weekend. So I like them so far, and I really think they have a chance to contend in the SUNYAC.
Yeah, 80 points per game? Are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
I mean, that is outstanding for them, shooting almost 50% from the field and from three-pointer range over 40. So they're really hitting on all cylinders offensively. Defensively, they're doing okay, getting out-rebounded, but that's expected, losing their biggest rebounders. But Eggleston's doing well in the post for them as well to get rebounds. Robbins and Hebert, 2 players that really didn't – well, Hebert wasn't here. Robbins had limited time last year. And now they're the 2 top players. I mean, 4 players in double figures for them. They're scoring. Jen Robbins, really dominant. She's little, but she's got a ball of fire. She can score.
Well, I think it's depth too. I think they have 4 players on this team who can score in double figures. Taylor Sorrell's at 11. Lauren Nunziato's at 11.5. Or 13, something like that. And I think what we're seeing now is we're seeing them not have to rely on one person. They can rely on a couple different people to really generate an offense that's really clicking. My only issue is defense. They score the most points, but they also give up the most points in the SUNYAC, and I think that's something that when it comes into play, late game situations, are you going to be able to finish?
And they turn the ball over 15 times again.
Yeah. Well, if the men's basketball team is streaking, the women's hockey team is playing out of this world. After going 0-1 in their first 2 ECAC West Conference games, the Lakers won 4 in a row, including holding Chatham scoreless in the past 2 games this weekend. The Lakers are currently in second place in the conference behind only Plattsburgh. Okay, Adam, can we start talking about a conference championship for this team?
No, I think we can. I mean, let's break this weekend down here.
Yeah.
You go on the road after a tough early season. They're getting wins down. Then they go all the way to Pittsburgh from here. A very, very long drive. Made it a few times. From here. And shut out a team twice on the road. I mean, that's outstanding.
I got some crazy stats for you. 0.88 goals against. That's how many goals they're giving up a game. They're giving up less than a goal a game, and I think that's a lot of credit to Catherine Cote, Bridget Smith, really stepping up their game. They've killed their last 17 penalties, so their special teams coming through in the clutch, and they've saved 91 of their last 93 shots. What does that tell me? Their defense is on fire. And the reason why they lost a few games earlier in the season wasn't because their defense wasn't good, is they just weren't putting the puck in the back of the net. Now they are. Boris and Seema both have 7 points. They have goal scorers. The freshman class that came in is really starting to play. It's really starting to gel together. The depth they have this year, I remember watching this team last year, and they would struggle up and down the ice in the third period because they'd be so tired because they wouldn't have any depth. Now this team has some depth. Plattsburgh's, they're in a collision course for Plattsburgh, and this team is really clicking. And don't be surprised if they come up with a win against Plattsburgh. Really open some eyes.
Yeah, I like that stat. 3 for 33 on the penalty kill. I mean, playing great defense.
Yeah.
And the goaltender situation, I mean, they're rotating through. Travado got to start this week. So, I mean, everyone's in there. Everyone's stopping the puck.
Yeah.
Good. The Oswego State men's hockey team split their weekend road trip, topping a loss to Geneseo and a win against Brockport. With the 2 early losses in the SUNYAC, is a room for concern in Lakerland.
You know what, and here's the thing. I think everyone expects the Lakers to finish in first place, to be in the Frozen Four every year. But it's not every 4 years you're going to see the most amazing freshman class come in. These guys are still freshmen. And to expect them to play at the highest level 6 games into their careers, I think it's asking a little too much. Now, I think it's expected at Oswego that you come in, you play the Oswego way, you do your part, and things will gel. And I think that's coming. But I think at the same time, what we have to understand is this team goes on the road, their first real hostile environment in Geneseo, over 1,500 fans, really against them, to come up short like that, it's eye-opening, the fact they had so many turnovers they couldn't really move the puck. But it's not something that wasn't or couldn't be foreseen. I think as time goes on, they'll get better and they'll improve. Do I think they're going to get an at-large bid if they don't win the SUNYAC this year? No, absolutely not. But at the same time, let's not count this team out. They still have goal scorers. They still got a freshman line who's been dominant. They still have an awesome goaltending matchup. I think we shouldn't panic yet, but certainly, not what we're expected to.
You talk about them being young, but what about all the experience still? I mean, there's experience left on this team. David Titanic should be a goal producer for them. He's just not getting the looks this year.
Yeah.
Kim Swallow, we thought was going to have a pretty good year. He's not been there. Where's Bannon? Where's Reve? Where are these guys that
fair point.
Okay, we leave a lot of seniors, but there was still a little nucleus to build around. So, yeah, there's a freshman there. The top 6 point scorers are underclassmen. But these guys got to step it up.
Sure, that's a fair point. But at the same time, you're asking these 7 guys who had a system with the old team to come in and try to develop a new system. I think it takes time. I think once we start getting towards the middle of the season, the Pathfinder Classic, I think we'll start seeing a lot more from this team. All right, up next, we'll catch up with our Athlete of the Week. Stay tuned. This is OSU.
We're here for you, we're here for you. This is your channel too. With sports and news and what to do, we're here for you. It's your TV, you're watching WTLP. Your TV, thanks for watching WTLP.
I'm CNN's Rob Marciano, and you're watching WTOP 10, your television station.
Back to Oswego Sports Update. Adam and I are now joined by Oswego State women's hockey star, Lizzie Marks. Lizzie, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
So we just basically went gaga over your team and how you've had success the last 4 games, and especially against Chatham. What was that like, and what's the satisfaction of going down there, getting 4 points, especially shutting a team out in 2 back-to-back games?
I mean, those 4 points, they were crucial. I mean, we did have a rough start this season against Potsdam, and we regrouped as a team and got back to our goals and knew that if we want to make an impact on this year and dethrone the powerhouses of Plattsburgh and Elmira, that we needed to play Laker hockey and win these points in crucial games. So we're ready and we're gunning for those teams.
Yeah.
This year, you guys coming in really on a tear, dominating most aspects in all statistics, that great penalty kill we talked about. What's the attitude of this team? It feels like they're new, excited, fast.
I mean, coming from only 17 players last year and getting this big freshman crop, I mean, they've really stepped up their game, and we have a very strong and experienced senior class that they've made the playoffs the past 3 years, and they're looking, to leave a legacy and make a run at the championship and maybe even a bid into the national championship. So it's great.
Now, you guys, a lot of seniors, like Adam just mentioned, and we've seen them develop over the last couple of years. What is their message to the freshmen? And obviously, you've been around the team, so you know the Laker way. But to the younger class, what's their message been this whole season so far?
The message is just that Laker hockey is all about family, and that you have to hold each other accountable, and you always have to strive to work hard because there is competition within the team. But at the same time, you're a team, you're a family. You need to push each other. You need to hold each other accountable and rely on one another. So just that. You can't do it alone. You always have to have somebody with your back, and somebody is going to.
Getting into this season now, a quarter into it, some players really stepping up. Who has stepped up the most, you think, that you didn't expect to early on in the season?
I would say definitely Catherine Cote. I mean, she coming back from a big shoulder injury. She didn't play at all last year, and she came back stronger than ever, and she's been a major force. All 3 goaltenders are huge, and I would have all confidence in the world having any of them in net. But Cote with some shutouts early in the season, that's huge.
Now, take the skates off, take the pads off the ice. You're a comm major, so
Yes.
we love having people on. What do you like to do for fun? Obviously, you guys as a team hang out a lot.
Yeah.
What do you do for fun, and what are your Thanksgiving plans for this week?
Thanksgiving plans is I'm running the turkey trot in Webster with my family, and then a couple of the girls and I are going to the Sabres game versus Montreal.
There you go.
And then off the ice, really into intramural sports. Obviously, we have a dynasty softball team, WTOP and athletes, and we're looking for our 3rd championship shirt in the spring. And other than that, I room with some lacrosse and basketball players, Taylor, who was on last week, and they're always something to do in our suite. So it's awesome.
So now, after this break, you guys will get right back into it. What are your thoughts, being a leader out there, this team? What's your guys' goal now going in? You know you can win. How do you take that into the rest of the season?
I think it's just all about momentum and consistency. I mean, we know that we can play with the best of them. We know that we have a very strong team, and it's just keeping up the confidence, keeping the lines rolling. I mean, capitalizing on our opportunities, and just kind of really maintaining our strong work ethic.
All right, last question. We'll get you out of here on this. Bills fan, I'm sorry. We've had this debate, and on this desk, there's everyone who's. I'm getting a bad rap for this. Tell me how they can finish out the season very strong and hopefully find the playoffs.
Oh, they will find the playoffs. I mean, let's just be honest
Yes.
there.
Best guess.
They'll find a way. I mean, we've been in a rebuilding year for the past 15 years, but
Hey,
you never know. This could.
It takes a
finally
while
be it.
to get a
It
perfect
will.
team. We're waiting on it.
It'll happen.
All right. Well, Lizzie, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm outnumbered here on the set, but I can't wait for Week 17. So coming up next, we'll go over to the desk. We'll talk to Dan. We'll throw some stories up for grabs. Stick with us.
My first week home was great. We had a party.
2 o'clock in the morning, they were waiting for me.
My niece was waiting for me at the airport with a sign.
There was a huge sign across my front house, and it said, "Welcome home, Megan."
They lifted me up on their shoulders, and the first week back, people just said thank you.
A new generation of veterans is coming home. Make a difference for them at welcomebackveterans.org.
Always here for you. And we'll have the dollar menu every day, only at McDonald's. These leaves are a little gauge.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I
I
am
am American.
I am an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
Welcome back to OSU. Let's throw some topics up for grab. Dan the Man North. Anything good?
All right, guys, we're going up for grabs. The Patriots took on the Denver Broncos in the Sunday night showdown. The Pats came out on top 34-31 in OT. This is despite a 24-0 deficit at halftime. With this win, New England is only one game out of the #1 seed. So who is the best team in the AFC East, guys?
All right. So
The AFC East?
So this whole thing going on right now is everyone's against the Patriots. Everyone's like, it's not even fair. I got Jackie Hart back there. She's going to back me up on this. But you know what? I think all three of these teams at home are the favorite. But not every team is going to get the #1 seed. Not every team is going to get the #2 seed. I think what the Patriots showed you last night is that their defense can keep their team in the games with a lot of the upper opponents on offense. But I still think Denver's the better team. I think once they get Julius Thomas healthy, I think once they get Champ Bailey and they get a lot of their other core defensive players back and healthy, they're going to be a tough team to defend with. I can only hope as a Patriots fan that they're the #1 seed, because going into Mile High, it's going to be really tough.
Yeah, I think you're right that the Broncos are a better team in this one. I mean, coming in, they had a 24-0 lead. They lost it. Credit to Tom Brady, whatever. So they lose the lead, lose the game. Peyton Manning's not going to let that happen again. He's not going to get up by 24 points and lose a game. Probably never again in his career.
Sure.
So 39 points per game. That's almost 15 more than anyone else. Their offense is going to score. We talked about their defense, how shaky it is, but Champ Bailey's coming back. I think they're coming together game by game. They're getting there. So I think the Broncos are the best team in the AFC by far. I don't think they're going to lose a game the rest of the season, get that #1 seed, go into the playoffs in high favorite. I really like the Broncos. I just think Peyton Manning, a loss like this is going to fire him up to not lose a game the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're on a collision course for Brady Manning again. Dan.
From one star to another. So if you haven't heard by now, Derrick Rose of the Chicago Bulls is done for the season after having surgery on his torn meniscus today. Rose has an aggressive playing style of taking it to the basket and drawing contact. Is this playing style by Rose causing his injuries?
Well, first off, I'd like to say it hits hard for my first-round pick in fantasy was Derrick Rose, but I might keep him for the keeper league. Anyway, yes, I think it does cause injury because he cuts too hard, man.
Yeah.
He's so fast, and he's only gotten faster. So as he's gotten faster, the only way he knows how to play the game is that way, and that's how he's excelled to this point. You can't tell him to play a different style of game because he's got to this point, won an MVP by playing the way he knows how to play. He's just getting bigger, faster, stronger, and the joints can't take it, man.
Yeah, you know what I think what it comes down to is I think his playing style is too violent. I think his cuts and his pivots are too violent, and I think the idea of him slowing down hasn't crossed the brainwaves of Derrick Rose's DNA. So I think something's going to have to change where he's either going to have to adjust his playing style or his career is going to be cut short. And for one of the guys in the league who's the most dynamic point guard we've seen in the last 10 years, it's kind of sad to me. And I think what needs to happen is he needs to take a step back and say, look, I didn't rush back for a reason. I was healthy for a reason. My playing style needs to change for that reason.
Can he play good at that level as a different style?
Most All-Stars are able to reinvent themselves.
Who knows? Dan.
There were some high expectations coming into this season with the Brooklyn Nets. They made a lot of offseason moves, including possibly the biggest one being the selection of head coach Jason Kidd. The Nets are 3-10. Guys, can you blame Jason Kidd for Brooklyn's horrible start to the season?
Oh, boy. You know what? I'm going to say no. I think what happens is when you bring in a lot of veteran guys, KG, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, to a coach who is older or younger than some of these players on the team, I think it takes a while. I spotted them 20 games at the beginning of the year. I said, let's give them, if they have 20 losses around January, February, I think we're all right. They already have 10, so they're halfway there, but I think they turn around. I think the guys put themselves in a good spot to win. These guys are veterans. They know how to play the game. The only issue is no D. Will or no Brook Lopez in tomorrow's game.
Yeah, that's why it's not Jason Kidd. I think they're just older. They're a little beat up. I think they're going to get healthy, come together around playoff time, be a force to be reckoned with, because when that starting five's on the floor, it's tough for any team in the NBA to match up one-on-one, five-on-five against them. So Jason Kidd, I would say it was his fault if he had a young team and they were doing bad. But they're just a veteran team. They're just trying to get their pace. He's just kind of a regulator in that system. Dan?
Time is of the essence. All right, guys. Well, heading into the weekend, there's a lot to look forward to in regards to college football. Highlighting one of many great games to watch is number 4 Auburn taking on the mighty Alabama Crimson Tide. What do you guys think is the biggest BCS matchup this weekend?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got a little different one. I got Johnny Football, Texas A&M, taking on Missouri. Because if Missouri wins that, they go to the SEC championship game. Johnny Football off a bad loss. He's looking for one thing. He doesn't care about the team. He's looking for that Heisman Trophy, baby. So he's going to be coming back, getting that win against Missouri after that tough loss to LSU.
Yeah, Alabama-Auburn, probably the most important game of the season for Auburn. I have another game, Missouri. That's an important game. However, South Carolina, Missouri loses that one. That's important for them. They play Clemson. Taj Boyd, he's looking for the Heisman. Both those teams won a BCS bowl game, so I think that's going to be really important coming up for this weekend.
Well, coming up on Oswego Sports Update, we go back over to Dan. We'll give us some grades to give out.
Do you like this top? So gay.
Really?
Yeah, it's totally gay.
You really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Got a good thing going, and I don't wanna see it end. Oh, no.
Hi, we're Real Big Fish.
And you're watching WTOP 10.
Like the number.
The mailbox and the traffic light. Both are ideas from the minds of African Americans. Support the United Negro College Fund, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
They're always here for you. And we'll have the dollar menu every day, only at McDonald's. These leaves are a little gauge.
Welcome back. Hey, Dan, the semester's almost over. How do your grades look?
Well, they're looking just fine. How about yours? All right. So, a lot of moves have been made in the Major League Baseball, and one that I want you guys to look at is Brian McCann to the Yankees. McCann signed a 5-year, $85 million deal to the Yanks. What's your guys' grade on this move?
A. I really like this move. They need a catcher since Jorge retired. He's a young spark. He's going to fit into that lineup nicely.
I'm going B-. The only reason why is I think this deal needed to be made a year ago when they lost Russell Martin. I think that's when they needed it because you know what's going to happen now. That's less money for Robinson Cano. They need him desperately. We're going to be in huge rebuilding mode if we don't go. And again, same trend. We're signing older veteran guys. I'm not a fan, but it'll probably work out in the end. Dan?
Well, the Yanks weren't the only ones making big moves. The World Series runner-up, St. Louis Cardinals, signed a player that had a big effect in postseason play this year, and Johnny Peralta. Peralta had an outstanding regular season for the Detroit Tigers as well, batting .303. What kind of grade do you guys give the Cards?
C. I give him a quick C just because of his off-field issues. He's got to fix that. But the Cardinals really have nothing to lose. They're really, really good. And take this guy. He doesn't do good for you. Okay, it's not a big loss. They're still a World Series contender.
You know, B+. And I think a lot of people are giving the owners and the whole league slack for signing a guy who was suspended. I mean, we've had players tweet about how, this isn't a good example to set. But at the same time, he is good. He fills in the infield slot. I think you lose David Freese, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. You lose him. You got to find guys who can hit. He can field. I think it's a good acquisition.
Well, David Freese couldn't get his second World Series ring with the St. Louis Cardinals this year, so he'll try to get another with Los Angeles. That's right, the Angels got the third baseman in the deal that sent Peter Borges and 2 minor leaguers to the Cardinals. What's your guys' grade on this move?
B-. He's a World Series MVP. He gets nothing lower than a B. That's my rule.
Well, I think anytime you sign a World Series MVP, that's at least grounds for a B. I think he brings a lot of depth. They were lacking in that position. They had Juan Uribe, not a bad player, but I think what Freese brings, his intensity to the game, he can hit. He was in a slump last year, and that was clearly evident because he did not produce in the World Series. But other than that, it's a pretty good signing. I think they're kind of shoring things up, so I give him an A-.
Well, the show is almost over with about 2 minutes to go. We're coming down to the wire. Henrik Zetterberg registered his 700th career point last night. Is he a Hall of Famer?
I think so. I think when everything is said and done, the body work he's done for Detroit is very, very, very solid. College basketball is gearing up for their Thanksgiving tournaments this week. Which one are you most looking forward to?
Well, obviously got to be biased to the NIT. The Dukie's going to win that one. Hey, but give a shout out to Maui, even though Syracuse is in it. It's always a good tournament. Marcus Saul, after a bad knee injury, will be out for almost a month. How crucial for the Grizz?
You know what? I think this is big. I think in a Western Conference that has seen the Warriors step up. I think the Houston Rockets, when they step up, they needed one of those top 4 seeds. If they don't get one and they lose about a month of games, I think that's very costly. They're going to struggle. They'll make the playoffs, but they'll struggle. Dan Herron reportedly signed a 1-year, $10 million contract to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Good fit for both?
I would like it if I had $10 million in 1 year.
All right, Dan, where did we mess up?
Only thing I got, Nunziato's averaging 12 points a game for the Lady Basketball Lakers.
That's very, very cool. I mean, I love their team, doing great things. What are you watching this week?
Well, I am obviously watching the football games on Thanksgiving.
Of course.
Good tradition to look forward to.
Turkey Day.
But these college basketball games are going to be good on all aspects. In this Maui tournament and NIT tournament, there are a lot of good basketball games.
I think the parity that we've seen in college basketball the last couple of years is there are no longer mid-majors. There are just really good, known conference teams against really good lower conference teams. So I think what we're going to see, and I think that's really important, for the future of college basketball. I think that's really, really good.
That's why we love it.
Yeah, I myself, I'm going to watch, I think I'm going to watch a lot of basketball. I think, I'm not the biggest college football guy, but these games this weekend, a lot of implications. Syracuse, I'll be a homer, trying to become bowl eligible for the 3rd straight year, so I think that's really cool. They have a lot to do. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight on Oswego Sports Update. Thanks for joining us here at WTOP 10. Have a great, great Thanksgiving.
And for the best sports banner around, I'm Adam Rupsick, Josh K, Dan North, and everyone here at the crew. Have a good night.